Hello, Aubrey. How are you today? How's it going?
I am excellent, Lindsay. I have a question for you to start us out.
Yeah. Yes.
Have you ever had someone visit who overstayed their welcome?
Well, I do actually, and it was me. It was us. So
You visited someone else and overstayed your welcome.
Well, so a different kind of overstaying welcome.
Okay.
So when I think of your question, I think of like days at a time that you're staying with someone. But this actually happened just an evening at a friend's house. So my partner and I were at another couple's house. We were sitting around their campfire, and it was kind of just after COVID. So I think our social skills were a little weak. We're like not a little rusty. And we missed some of the signals that it was time to go. Like it was getting late.
That's
it was
funny.
like a Thursday night or something. We missed some of the signals until finally Sam, one of the other members of the other couple, was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now." And we realized what we had done, and we were just mortified.
They're like,
And
you
it's
can
just like a
stay, but I'm
story.
going to bed.
Yeah, it was
That's
pretty
so
bad.
funny.
It was like all the social skills had kind of gone, after COVID. So
That
yes,
makes
we overstayed
sense.
our welcome.
Well, you're not alone. This has happened. I've had people overstay. That happens more often. That'll be like a party, a get together. I'm like, I wish that I were at someone else's house so I could go, but it's at my house, and I don't.
There's
want
always
to kick
someone
them
that
out.
lingers, right? Yes,
That happens for sure. You have to start
Yep.
the subtle clues at first, and then more obvious.
Yep. You really got to look for those clues, and it could be cultural too, right? I
Absolutely.
mean, it could be that in different cultures people stay longer. I mean, I know weddings in India last like 7 days, right? So there may be an expectation in different cultures that people will stay longer at parties.
That's such a good point, right? And the social cues will be different. That's going to be interesting to figure out. How long can I stay if I'm a guest in someone's house or at a party? It's going to be different depending on where you are. But this came up in a recent chat I had with one of our amazing students, Jorge, when I met with him during his community connector chat. He is one of the community connectors in our community.
Yes.
And he was staying with family in California and felt that he had overstayed his welcome. And he was like, how can I say that? What are expressions in English for saying that? And I immediately said, this is going to be a great episode for Allers English.
Oh, it's so good. This is a fantastic episode. I'm super excited. So in today's episode, we're actually going to share 3 expressions for this, right? 3 expressions where we're essentially saying you shouldn't overstay your welcome, kind of idioms or well-known sayings in our culture. Right?
Yeah, these expressions we use to talk about it, because this is a great way to connect, like the story you just shared, Lindsay. If you accidentally do this, to chat about it, it's a fun thing to connect about.
Yeah, this is great. But first, what is a community connector? You said Jorge was our community connector last month or a few months ago. What is a community connector?
This is awesome. So in the Allers English community, anyone who signs up for any of our courses joins the Allers English community. And we have community connectors who are especially good at building community, where they're commenting on others' posts, they're hosting student-led conversation speaking practice at times that are convenient around the world. And we give them a shout out for building community. We have like a 15-minute chat with them. There's a certificate. We give them shout outs at Open Conversation Club and Fluency parties. We are grateful for all of our community connectors. So all of you out there, thank you for all that you have done to build community at Allers English.
Yeah, and we do have a vibrant community that has really grown and become quite robust over the last couple of years. But the way to actually be included in this community, to be invited to the live speaking events, to be inside the special website we have it's just for students. So you do need to be inside a course at Allers English. So Aubrey, where can our listeners find our courses?
Yes, go to our website, allersenglish.com, and then you can see all of our courses in the drop-down, it says courses along the top, and see which course would be the best fit for you. And then you'll immediately join our amazing community. We'd love to have you there.
Yeah, it's such a cool benefit of studying with Allers English. You know, most schools, you just get the class, you get the content, the material, the curriculum. But with us, you get the curriculum and you get the community. Right?
Yes.
Love it.
Huge bonus. Absolutely. So let's dive in with these 3 expressions. This first one is funny. It is guests like fish stink after 3 days. This is actually attributed to Benjamin Franklin. I saw online.
I've heard that.
But what's interesting is it's often shortened to either just fish and company, or we'll say like, you know what they say, fish and company. And then we know what's implied. They both stink after 3 days.
Yeah, it's so true. It seems harsh, but it's just a saying. It's just an expression, right?
Exactly, right? It's not as harsh as it sounds when we say it.
Yeah,
It's playful, it's lighthearted, right?
It's fun. Let's do a little role play and see how it gets into action here. So you had good friends visiting from out of town, right? How did that go?
Good, but they stayed for 2 weeks.
Uh-oh, fish and company.
Yeah, you're telling me.
That's too long. I agree. And I think 3 days is just about right. Anytime, because we have a guest room, and anytime we have like, an aunt or an uncle come or a friend, it's like 3 days, 3 nights, just about right.
It's true, right? After that, you kind of need to get back into your regular routine. Yeah. But it's interesting. This phrase, I wouldn't recommend it for like your friend when you guys were there a little too late at their home. It would be a little rude to be like, okay, Lindsay, fish and company, right? That's not really how we use it. It's more like later when you're sharing that story, be like, I accidentally stayed too long, fish and company.
Yeah, you don't say it to the person that is overstaying their welcome.
Right.
Yeah, there's other things. There could be another episode we might have to do.
That'd be a little harsh.
You do need important emergency phrases in that moment to figure out what to do, right? But it's not.
It's probably just like what your friend said. Like, I'm gonna head to bed. That's a good one.
Exactly. Okay, then number 2, very common phrase: don't wear out your welcome. So tell us about this one, Aubrey.
Yeah, this is also an idiom that means just don't stay too long. Don't take advantage of someone's hospitality. We use this phrasal verb, wear out. We actually recently did an episode about this phrasal verb, wear out, which also sort of inspired talking about this idiom, wearing out your welcome. And this can be for either, like we said, guests that have stayed for several days, or being at a party a little longer than the hosts want you to be. You've worn out your welcome.
Yep. And we also say this to refer to ourselves. You'll say something like, I don't want to wear out my welcome. Let's say they invite you to stay an additional night, and that would exempt this whole situation. Like they want you to stay longer. You might push back and say, I don't want to wear out my welcome. Are you sure that's okay?
Yeah, good point. Or sometimes we'll recognize that it's sort of a courtesy invite. Like in order to not be rude, someone's inviting you to stay longer, but you are picking up the social clues. You feel like it might be a courtesy invite. You might say, oh, thank you so much, but I don't want to wear out my welcome.
Yep. So you decline. So we have to pay really close attention to the social cues. It's huge. Exactly. So important. What's this number 3?
Third one is one I found online that I'm curious if this is common for you. I didn't hear this as much growing up in Idaho, that people say company is like snow. The longer it stays, the more it's in the way.
Yeah, I don't think I've really heard it before. Actually,
so I'm really curious if this is more common in other English-speaking countries. It's not as common in the States, but I kind of like it. It's very similar to fish and company, but this is really true about snow, that it's so beautiful when it first lands, and it's so pretty and white, and then after a couple of days, it's like muddy and annoying, or it's slick on the roads, and you just want it to be gone.
That's what I love about Colorado. It melts in 24 hours. It's so great.
That's ideal.
Yeah, it's ideal. I'm sure that probably in Idaho when you were growing up, was that the case? You probably got a lot of sunshine.
It was terrible. No? It stayed. And often they wouldn't plow the roads well enough so that it would pack on the roads and they would become so slick. I was always sliding off the road into the ditch.
Oh my gosh, scary.
It's bad. Or it'll turn into like black ice if there's just enough water on the road, and then it melts a little and then freezes. So Yep. We had a lot of black ice in New England. That was a big thing there too. So anyways, companies like snow. So let's go into a role play then. Let's take a look. All right. We're staying with my in-laws next month for a while. Oh yeah? How long?
Not sure yet. Maybe a week.
Well, be careful not to wear out your welcome. Company is like snow. The longer it stays, the more it's in the way.
It's also interesting too, because I feel like, honestly, I don't know. I'm from the US, so I kind of know my own culture, but I have a feeling this mentality, this feeling might not be true across all cultures either. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to know. I'm really curious. Guys, come back to YouTube, leave a comment. How long is appropriate for guests to stay when they're visiting you? I would say in the States, about 3 days. And that's probably why we have this fish and company. They usually say 3 days.
It really is.
I'm curious what that's like in other cultures.
Yeah, that might just be kind of an American or Western mentality. We're going to have to put a poll up around this question.
This is
Aubrey.
our Spotify poll too. So come back to Spotify and let us know, how long is it appropriate for guests to stay?
Super interesting. Yeah. All right. We'll take a quick break and then we'll be right back. All right, Aubrey. So if a friend or family member stays too long, how can you tell them?
Yeah, This is interesting because it could potentially hurt the connection. I love how your friend was like very subtle, polite, just like, well, I think I'm going to head to bed. But if people are staying, let's say someone has stayed with you a week, 2 weeks, and they're clearly not leaving. What do you think, Lindsay? What would you say? It would be different depending if it's immediate family that you're very comfortable with, or friends that you don't know quite as well. Tricky.
Right. Like if it's your parents or a parent, you just would probably be more direct with them. Right.
Yeah.
But if it's people you don't know as well, I would probably start to be relatively direct as well if they're just not getting the hint. You might
Maybe
just
start
say, hey,
saying
we
why,
need the
like give
space.
specifics about what the inconvenience is politely, but share like, we've got a lot going on this week. So it's tricky. I think we should do a follow-up with phrases that you could use to politely let someone know that they've overstayed their welcome. What do you think, Lindsay?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, let's do it. This is really interesting. But for today, we have a role play to finish up the episode. And in this role play, Aubrey, you have been staying with me, your friend Lindsay, after flooding happened at your apartment. Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah. All right. So how's the apartment cleanup going? Any update from your landlord?
Not yet. They're saying it might take a few more days. Mind if I crash here just a little longer?
You know, I love having you here, but as they say, guests like fish stink after 3 days. Oh, I'm saying it directly to you.
We just said not to do it. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Tell me how you really feel. I get it, though. I know I've been a bit underfoot. I'll see if I can stay with Megan for a few days.
Oh, yeah. Good idea. You're always welcome, just preferably in short doses. Okay, there's some sarcasm happening here. We must be really close friends.
Definitely.
Like best
we're clearly
friends.
Close friends, talking like we're sisters. I would say this to my sister. I have a couple of really close friends that I probably would be this direct. Funny, would be like laughing, right?
Yeah.
But it would be not everyone could you say this to.
Yeah, so we know that we've just contradicted our advice and don't say these directly to the person. But again, because in this role play, we're supposed to be very close. In that case, you do have an exemption there, right?
Yes. And if it's not someone you're extremely close with, you would need to be more subtle. Would be tricky what you said. So definitely hit follow. We'll do a follow-up with the phrases that you could use to do this in a polite way.
Yeah. So anything we want to highlight here, Aubrey?
Yeah, I think today's phrases are great for lightening what could be a really awkward situation, or just connecting about this happening to you. Like you said, Lindsay, I'm sure you've told that story to people. Like this is a fun thing to connect about. We've all been there.
Yeah, we tell stories where we've been that person or we've had that person staying with us. It is a social connection topic for good conversation. And it's a human thing. And I'm also really interested to hear what our listeners say in the poll.
Yes.
Like, how cultural is this?
Absolutely.
I have a feeling it's quite cultural. I have a feeling that the amount of time is different depending on the culture.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, that would be really interesting. So let us know. You can answer the poll or come back to YouTube. Let us know where you're from and what this is like where you live.
Really good stuff. Aubrey, we'll see you very soon. Have a good day.
Awesome. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.